Tuesday, April the 1st, 2025. Let the record reflect this meeting's been posted in accordance with Texas Government Code 551, better known as Texas Open Meetings Act. Quorum of commissioners is present established. Commissioner Holcomb won't be here with us. He texted me last night from an emergency room up in Cleburne. He's having a little medical issue. Please keep him in your prayers. I think he's going to be okay, but it didn't sound good last night, but he had an upbeat attitude about things. So moving on then in our agenda this morning, we have before us first, we're going to kind of skip a few things because it's a special meeting. We put some things on here we didn't really need. We're going to move right down to open forum at this time. Is there anybody here to speak to court on some matter that may not be before the court today or is on the agenda today? Hearing nothing, we can come back to that. Somebody gets an idea they need to talk. We're going to move into the consent agenda. Now, when we published the consent agenda last week, we knew of two things. We thought we had some others, but the only thing on the consent agenda is going to be the invoices for this week. And that's as far as I know. Okay. Motion is second to approve the aforementioned invoices, which were sent to you from the treasurer's office. Thank you very much from the treasurer's office. Any further discussion? If not, I call the question. All in favor, say aye. Yeah. Aye. All opposed. Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. I'm going to move those around. Oh, court orders. Number one, discuss and improve employee wage status changes for this date. We have wage change. Katarina, I'm going to mess this up. Bagby down at the sheriff's office is added advanced com pay. So congratulations. And that is the only wage status change we have for this date.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion is second to approve. Any discussions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed. Any abstention? Motion carries. Now we've got a good one here. It's observe and record the 2024 Texas and Counties Risk Management Pool Zero Lost Time Safety Award. I don't think we ever got one of these before. This means that we didn't lose any time in fiscal year 2024 for injuries or dumb things. So proud of you guys. That includes everybody. Sheriff's, hey, good to see you. Sheriff's Department, road commissioners, I guess even the county attorney's office actually, but no workers' comp claims. See, that's how to be a team player right there. That's it. Thank you, Dave. Dave for the save. That's what I got. All right. I'll make a motion. We observe and record the award. Motion is second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed. Motion carries. Number three, discuss, consider, and select engineering architectural service providers to complete the application and project implementation for the hazard mitigation assistance funding administered by the Texas Division of Emergency Management, Texas Water Development Board. Let me give you a rundown on this. This is that hazard mitigation grant we're applying for. This is the one that we have a meeting Wednesday with the General Land Office because they are holding up our ability to apply for it at this point, because of our 2023 audit was late and they had a finding in that audit. Well, it not just hold us up, it holds the whole county up. Because if we don't have a hazard net plan, that means when there's hazard happen, nobody can apply for FEMA funding. So I've reached out to our state representative. They've arranged a meeting with the GLO. The General Land Office, the only gal we can get talked to, her current stash is we're going to wait till the 2024 grant comes around, or 2024 audit comes in to make sure this finding was corrected. I've looked back through 15 years of audits. We've never had a finding before this one. The only finding was our last auditor, not a current one, but our last one was negligent getting the paperwork on time. Outside of that, we're in great financial shape. Losing this grant means $100,000. Not having the plan means a lot more than $100,000. So what I'm going to ask you guys to do is go ahead and approve this today, because we're going to keep moving forward on this, doing the paperwork, everything we need to do, while we put some pressure on the GLO and explain just how difficult the situation they're putting us in through our state representatives and our state senator. So all that being said and done, we've received exactly one bid for this, amazingly enough. It's a nice bid, nice envelope, well good package. And this bid is from, I heard it and somebody caught it. I was impressed with the reaction speed on that. Okay. This is from Schaumburg and Polk Inc. This is the only bid we received on this. And what I'll be asking the court to do is approve a resolution, that a resolution of Hill County, Texas, authorizing professional service provider selection for hazard mitigation. And that we would say that Schaumburg and Polk Inc. out of Terrell, Texas, is selected to provide application and project-related engineering architectural services for this HMA program, and that any and all project-related service contract or commitments made with the above-named service providers are dependent on the successful negotiation of a contract with a service provider. That means we're accepting them, but we're not entering into business with them yet until we've had time to negotiate a contract with them for this. Yeah.
And what Your bid.
Well, right now, let's go through that. Chris, you got anything you want to put on that thing?
That is the generator.
Correct, it's for the generator.
It's for them to say on the size and the loading and make sure you hold everything we have going to hold. I don't really understand how that says.
State says we do. So let's go through this. This is their hazard mitigation assistance, overall. So they look at your work performance, their capacity to perform. That's your reference guide and where things are. You'll find starting on page number, page 3 is their management letter to us. Page 4 is their firm profile. They go into a bunch of things that they've done or have done. You look at page, the numbering stop there, forgive me, I got behind. They took some cities that they do business with, Kirbyville, Pinehurst, Spider, things along those lines with a project experience. Keep on trucking past the city of Lumberton, their disaster recovery. The Texas Water Development Board, Surface Water Treatment Plant Fund. These are all plans that they've done in the past successfully, they claim. So all people you might want to talk to down the road. And their reference list is actually quite significant. They've, if you go to that page 18, they get rid of the pictures and they just start putting down names. It's page 19, same thing. So all their work performance, trying to let us know they've got the proposed staff that they're going to put starts on page 25. All their statements that may come in or out of that. Let's get on past all their senior people, their project managers. I'd like to know what it costs to put this thing together. Printing alone must have been pretty good. So here's all our required forms. They put in their certificate of liability insurance. They have unique identity number. Okay, cool. They have their conflict of interest questionnaire filled out. They have their certification regarding lobbying. They have the disclosure of lobbying activities, which is none, but that's good when you're hiring engineers for federal and state projects. Certificate of interested parties, threshold requirements. So as they go through all of that, and my understanding, Chris, is this is contingent upon awarding the grant that they get any payment whatsoever.
Should be.
Yes, it would be. My understanding, this grant has a, forgive me if I get this wrong, I think it's a 15% administrative cost cap. They can't go over 15% of the grant. Okay, cool. Does that answer your question? Okay, good deal. A lot of information in here. Okay. I have a motion second to approve a resolution authorizing professional service provider selection. Hill County will select Schaumburg and Polk Inc., the sole bidder. We're actually had to put together a letter as well that we're putting with this to let the folks at the state know that, hey, we put this out for bid. They only received a single bid on it, which we didn't really expect much more than that. We did put this out online. We sent direct emails to people. How many emails did we send out on this one?
Well, this is our second bid. Well, the first one we did eat.
I forgot to mention
The
that.
second round we had expanded by 4 times. Well, I think it was around 35 to 40 different entities we sent this bid out to.
Yep, good work. All right, anything further on this subject? All right,
Does this get us in, started in compliance to where, is this what's holding up the city getting their 30 million?
no, sir, that was, we already got past that. That was the subdivision rules and regulations changes that we made a month ago that we had to switch to answer that question. What the Texas Water Development Board required was the county switch from operating under subsection A to subsection C of that particular section of the code, 232 local government code, I believe. We've already tackled that. So we're good to go
So
there.
what? Is this on, you said 100,000?
So what the deal is, we have to have a hazard mitigation plan in the county to be eligible for hazard mitigation funds, to be eligible for FEMA funding, actually, I believe. And that affects every entity in Hill County. So if the county itself does not have the hazard mitigation plan, the city of Hillsborough can't apply, the school district down in Mount Calm can't apply. Nobody, can apply. That's a governmental entity for these funding is what we're being told. So we've had a hazard mitigation plan for years, and I'll be honest with you, I always thought it was wasteful as all get out, the amount of money the state spends on these things. One year Tom wound up doing, I think 90% of it, and the contractor still got $40,000 because it was paid for by grant. All that said and done, this grant that we're working on right now is to replace the former hazard mitigation plan. The problem with these hazmat plans, it's not like hey, we just make a plan and it's good to go. Oh no, the state's got to get it and they'll hold on to it for 6 months before they tell you yes or no. And if they tell you no, you go back to the drawing board, fix it, send it back to them, and they wait another couple months. Then they send it to the feds, and then the feds have to sit on it for however long it takes to justify their existence. And when they finally approve or deny it, they send it back to you. So it's a drawn out process. We're currently under hazard mitigation. If we had a disaster right now through the end of this year, we're covered. It's just we really have to get this process going to replace that plan. And since the General Land Office of the state of Texas has the money available to apply to hire the folks to do that plan, and we've already gone through all that. We went through that process earlier in court, late last year actually, and picked those folks. That's what the holdup is right now, is getting that grant moving. And the General Land Office was waiting on our FY23 audit, outside audit. We've received that. That was the first audit we've ever received a finding on, some negative comment. The only negative comment was the last auditor couldn't get the paperwork to them in time. Well, it's clearly that's resolved itself. I mean, that we have a new auditor. So that's working out just fine. But the General Land Office has taken a position that no, that's not good enough. They're going to wait until the results of the FY24 come out. That's June. And so we're going to be so far behind the 8 ball in June, we're worried about that pool of money the General Land Office have being depleted. So we're trying to push to get that done now. Like I said, we've involved the political folks, and we've got a meeting set up for Wednesday with them to explain our position and our situation. They've granted waivers before for folks for much more egregious things than this. So it's just a matter of getting everybody on the same page and making a move.
So agreeing to hire these people, is that good enough to keep the ball rolling?
The part of it, yes, sir. Yeah, that's all I got to do is keep the ball rolling, is the way to put it. So
This plan is good for 5 years.
the hazard mitt plan will be good for 5 years. Yes, sir. You won't have to do this again next year. Yeah, no doubt. All right, guys. I have that. And any other questions? I mean, good questions on these things. I know they're about as fun as slamming your hand in the car door, but all right, I'll call the question. I've got a motion in a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carried. I'm going to put those two together. Severe thunderstorms. I don't know if that's April Fool's joke or what. We've had just over 3.3 inches in Aquila this week, and I don't know that I can stand much more. I can't get out in the front yard without a pair of mud boots on. Number 4, discuss an action for each Hill County Commissioner to approve their road permits. We talked about this at the previous meeting. The way we currently do road permits is the individual that wishes to do permitting on the road comes get a copy of the permit. They then take it to the commissioner. The commissioner looks at it, says, yes, this is it, signs off on it. Then it comes to this body for approval. Then it's filed in the county clerk's office. Each commissioner under the statutes has the authority to operate their precinct, the road maintenance in their precinct as they see fit. And what the discussion was in a previous court, we needed to have an action item, was that instead of bringing those back for commissioner's court approval, just, hey, once the commissioner says it's good, that's it. They can file them with the county clerk. Is that acceptable to you guys? Okay, sounds like we got a winner there. All right, motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. All right, number 5. This is the Child Services Board annual report to kind of give you a rundown of what they do. I'm going to take time to read this because I think it's that important. We talk about the finances, their treasury report on a regular basis. But in February of this last year, they moved into the newly remodeled courthouse annex with storage space, all their extra supplies. Everything is now neatly organized, making it easy to grab what we need. The new space has been a huge help, and we're very thankful to the county commissioners and the county judge for supporting us. In April, with the solar eclipse happening, they moved their Go Blue Day to April 19th to avoid heavy traffic. Attendees included Blum ISD, Itasca ISD, and a group of homeschool children. Donors to this event made easier for them, including the Hillsborough Lions Club, Hill Regional Hospital, Sherry Hemmert for photography, Trail to the Cross for their prayers, Hillsborough Sonic, and the Hill County Emergency Management Services. In December, they had a fun time because of Christmas. So instead of the usual CPS Staff Appreciation Day, they decided to have a small staff party before the children's annual Christmas party, all on the same day. Over 200 people attended, including CPS staff, board members, and families. They could not have done it without the help and organization of Jamie Wyndham and her Christmas committee, along with many amazing volunteers: CASA, Lindsay Kimbrell, Hillsborough Lions Club, Hill Regional Hospital, First Methodist Church, Christian Lutheran, Tim Whedon, Sonic, and Unit 7 CPS, Hillsborough, Texas, City of, Carrie Rogers, White Bluff Chapel, Trail of the Cross, Hillsborough Chamber of Commerce, Texas Through Time, Sherry Hemrick, George Rowe as a Santa, and Young's Animal Hospital. And so they stopped hosting the Adoption Day celebrations and started sending gift baskets to recognize when a child in foster care was adopted. Over the course of 2024, 11 adoption baskets were filled with welcoming goodies and sent to families. That's a good story there. Hill County Child Protective Services Board would like to thank the County Commissioners Court and the County Judge for a wonderful support you provide. The court allocates $20,000 per year to our board to assist with clothing allowances. These funds are designated to clothing and shoes for the children in care. During 2024, our board released funds totaling $28,400. We'd not be able to provide this subsidy without your generous help. Thank you very much. And that comes from the Hill County Child Protective Services Board. And I make a motion we observe and record their 2024 report. All right. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, one of my last official acts gets to be on the Blow Blue Day, so I always look forward to that. It's a lot of fun. And those kids are actually a lot of fun to take around here. So, all right, we have motion second. Anything further? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Whew, number 6, I ain't gonna miss this. Discuss and action on bids for county supplies, offsite, onsite fuel, oil, road materials, corrugated steel pipe, petroleum supplies, emulsions, treated lumber, all types of road-based contract for crushing services, concrete and corrugated bridges, box culvert construction, contracts for hauling, mobile heavy truck equipment, washing services, scrap metal bids, and other supplies or services to be effective April 1st, 2025. Gentlemen, you received a binder in front of you. We're going to start moving through it. So first we had open bids at the designated time last Friday, and we have tabulation sheets to go along with those. The first thing I'm going to take up this morning is our asphalt and emulsions. Now, we have 3 bids: a Wright Asphalt, Aragon Asphalt, and P Squared Emulsion Services. These are road construction materials, and we have historically taken up that we have taken materials, all bids based on quantity, quality, availability, and I think we should be adding location to that, accepting those lowest and best bids, also depending on location. Anybody's thoughts on that? We're good. Cool. All right. I will say that things have gone up like everything else in the world. The cost of eggs and groceries go up. Well, accordingly, so does the cost of emulsions. I wish I would have brought last year's just to compare them for you guys. It's not huge, but it's a percentage increase. So, you look like some of the prime oils are now $4 a gallon, but subgrade oil. The CPI per load of freight, that RC 250 for surface treatment's up to $3.90 a gallon. So it's not going to get cheaper. But do we want to take these one at a time? I think that's a good idea. So I think we just this year take it for everybody based on location. By that, I mean, I don't particularly mean the location of the barn, because obviously hauling things to Penelope versus hauling them down almost to Dawson are 2 different prices. I'm talking about the location of the product. We can go P2 emulsions, we get to go down to Waco. That's not bad. But if you've got to go to Wright, you've got to go where? East? Here, I'll tell you where they're at.
Either Temple or
Yes.
Comanche,
Comanche is where it was. Okay.
Comanche, or,
Their offices are based out of Houston. But the deal is, if P2 doesn't have it, we got to go somewhere else to get it. So we try to use the cheapest and the closest on any of these. But I think we need to consider location. Again, just putting that language in there that we did consider the location. We would use the cheaper, closer product first. But there's times they're not going to have what you need, and you're going to have to go somewhere else to get it. So
P2, did not go up. They kept their bid the same.
Oh, good.
So George, the salesman. When I pleased him, he said that they did not go up on their per gallon price.
Good.
That was a good thing. I asked him, why didn't you go down?
Yes, it Wright is not the same. Wright and Aragon did not stay the same.
But you know, P2, it's so close that we just run to Waco, Elmont.
Yeah.
Pick it up, bring it back, or if we got enough lined up, they get a transport and.
So do you need to bid based on availability and location?
Yeah, quantity, availability and location. Yeah, for all product. Yes, sir.
Just curious, I haven't seen the bids, but is there any qualifying language in any of them with regard to tariffs if they're?
To the tariffs, I didn't.
It's a product manufactured.
So that's a great question and I don't have an answer to yet. Give me a second. So let's look for qualification language in here. And I'm just looking at the emulsions right now.
Would asphalt fall under that?
Minimum pickup at plant. So this attachment A on the right bid is, you know, your qualifications, minimum pickup 750 gallons. Submitted delivery prices are based on full transport load trucks. Less than transport loads can be delivered plus 1820 on outgoing freight. Cancellation policy, they talk about return loads will be billed an additional 1/2 outgoing freight. Delayed products cannot be returned. Return loads required to notify this individual, the pump charge, the demurrage charge, the diversion fee, the layover charge. Wow. And so there's Collin County on that one. I don't see anything there on tariffs. Let's look at this. The next one here, number 2 that we opened up is specifications. This is Aragon is number 2. And remember, they don't do the MC30 prime or the RC250 either.
Did it in the past.
I kind of expected to see them too and didn't. So don't understand it. Yeah, no, Aragon doesn't seem to have any qualifications to it either. So yeah, I think the answer is safe to say that they did not put in their bid packet any qualification language regarding tariffs.
In the past, precinct 1 had used some Paragon material. And it presented a big problem with the distributor for us. But,
Oh, it wasn't good stuff. Well, you got make a motion on what you want to take and what you don't, and we'll get on down the road with it.
you know. I thought,
Yes, sir.
talked to, Mike River, I thought they said they were gonna do it again for the OPEC material asphalt, but.
I received 3 bids in my office by the deadline, sir, and we only opened 3 bids.
Their co-patch was 135 a ton. And got a letter back that they're gonna probably go up 15%.
Well, forgive my ignorance. Did any of these other 3 bid cold patch?
Sir,
Did any of these other 3 bid cold patch?
This is just
Mr. Oil,
what we're looking at right now.
Correct.
you know,
We accept all bids.
Right.
Based on quality,
And location. Yes, sir. All right, we have a motion and a second to accept all bids for emulsion based on quantity, quality, and availability and location. Do I hear any discussion?
And that's for all precincts.
Yes, ma'am, for all precincts. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. We're going to get on to the next one, and this is the one that gives us fits every year, but we got a good participation this year. And that would be for our road base. We had CMix, PRC, Canfield Materials LLC, Connors Crushed Stone, and Yannick and Witten Construction. Those were the 7 bids for base material that you'll receive. You'll find in those binders. I said 7, forgive me, the 5 bids. I looked at that 7 and said 7, I meant 5. What is torpedo rock?
I think it's that 3x5 oversized rock.
I have not heard that term before. Been here a long time and I just saw that and went, that's interesting. What is
Softball.
take out a small car?
Yeah.
Gotcha. I don't know. I understand why they call it torpedo rock. That's always got me, that the bigger the rock is, the more they charge for it.
Yes.
You would think that the crushing, it would be opposite, but what do I know? Pending test, grade 1, type A, but what? Who is PRC over? They're said they're off of 338 County Road 2129 West in Whitney, Texas.
So they're opening up a new pit.
Oh, I hadn't heard this. This is new.
Well, they haven't opened it yet. What we used to call Dog Pound Road.
Oh,
You, right there across from the rustic furniture place.
yes, sir.
2129, you go down about a mile. I've noticed they've been calling up a bunch of rock and material. Their price is what's 11.
Yeah,
But they're
that's pretty odd.
$24 per yard. I mean, that's expensive road base.
That's, yeah. You look at it, they're.
Yeah, 11.25 a yard.
You break it down per ton, that's.
I hate to see that because it'll mess that road up bad.
It's already.
One thinketh like the commissioner. I thought about, oh, the money. I thought about this, the untested rock. No, the road was the first thing. That's all.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so I had not heard of them. So Canfield is that pit that's out on 1104 Loop. That used to be Rattler, that's right. So Canfield is now, Rattlers is now Canfield. Istanbul is now Constantinople, or vice versa. Then we had the public notice here. This is Connors Construction, and well, Connors, here's the issue I got. So screenings are crusher fines, $575, but they don't tell me per ton or per yard. I know it's per ton from looking at invoices of what they've done, but I really wish they'd fill it out. But the untested road base is $825 per ton. It's going up a little bit. That's $1.25, right?
I think.
Just a quarter? Okay, wasn't, okay, I thought it, okay, forgive me, I misthought. This here is Yannick and Witten. This is crushed concrete, and they're talking about crushed concrete at $20. I guess that's
That's per yard also.
is it per yard, not per ton? Okay, okay. We have quite the arrangement there.
Set up for crushing concrete.
Yeah,
Where they had on bottom.
Right here somewhere, I'm not sure exactly who they're set up at. The solar farm, Solid Energy, the one that's under construction right now. In my preschool, so the big one,
yeah, okay.
they used a lot of it. And superintendents loved it. Big guys did it, so he had to pull it all up. And that's what he patched a lot of our roads with down there.
I'll be darned.
And set up pretty good stuff.
Okay,
It's expensive, it's not cheap, but
it works out.
it works. We'll see if it lasts longer than crushed rock. Being concrete.
Yeah, it did pretty good that we got out there north of town years ago. That was pretty good.
That's right. I've forgotten about that.
We just wasn't enough of.
Yeah,
That was a big,
It was free.
yeah, that was.
good.
I was doing all right till y'all showed up.
I don't know. We didn't want you to hog everything.
Here it is, that is so.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So those are the baits, those are the bids that we've got for different types of road base.
Bid. I make a motion that we accept all bids based on availability, quality,
Quantity,
quantity,
location.
location.
You got it? Sound- And price, yes.
We didn't do price on the other one, does that matter?
Road base will do price.
Okay.
The new pit, for precinct 1 would be great for them up there, and I don't know, it's further for us to go.
Yeah, no, it's clear, last year we had that issue that they didn't bid it and we had to go back and rebid it just for precinct 1 because the cost to his budget would have been pretty tremendous if he had to go to those other places. But I know everybody's got their preference on what rock they get, and every pit gets a bad run of rock occasionally. It just happens. But I think overall, we've got a pretty good group of suppliers, and if one pit's got bad rock, we can move the next one that doesn't at the moment. So. All right, so we've got a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. We're going to jump to the next fun thing today, and that is going to be pressure washing. So this is not road construction. Each commissioner would take, here's why. We spent almost $50,000 on pressure washing services last year, which means we're up against where we can go. We need to bid this. If we see that we're going to exceed that amount, not seeing any relief from legislature inside of that $50,000 number. You know, it was 10,000 when I started. They keep moving it up, and they haven't in a while. I think then out of a abundance of caution, we just need to bid this. So what we've got is 4R Services Unlimited LLC, Washer Power LLC, Rado Real Estate LLC, doing business as Diamond Surface Cleaning Solutions, RWS Power Washing Services, and 5Co Logistics Inc. And so I've got the bids here, and I'm going to be honest, first time I've looked at power washing bids whatsoever. So it's got a breakdown on what it costs to, if you look at that first page, mobile pressure washing, and these are all good for all 4 precincts, as my understand it. At least that's the way that the form was, we put it out, and you can look at what it costs for a motor grader, a tractor, semi truck, a trailer, backhoe, skid steer, roller, mower, pickups, all that kind of stuff. So those are the bids for power washing, and we have a total of 5 of those. I know this is everybody's favorite commissioner court meeting of the year because we just sit here in silence. But unfortunately, this is how we have to do things. We don't have the ability as a court, nor should we have the ability to meet separately and talk about this privately. This is public funds being spent on public services, and therefore we have to do it in open court and be transparent, though it does tend to drag on occasionally.
This one we got to each pick a vendor.
Yes, sir. Each precinct needs to pick a vendor on this one.
Since we
And then,
do our own power washing, I'm just shooting for the lowest bid.
okay,
So precinct 3, you're ready.
she's writing. Oh, yeah, no, you're not gonna understand my handwriting. It's terrible.
Got you.
Yes.
This Rado Real Estate doing business as Giant Blue Guy,
Okay.
We just do 2, 3 items, so.
we wash your home.
Oh, okay.
That's all, I'm just.
Yeah, you don't.
I'm picking the cheap guys.
Oh, gotcha. No, there you go.
Cheap side of money.
There you go.
So you're picking okay.
Now, thank you for that. I don't know what we do for Jim, obviously. We're going to accept a bid on Jim's behalf, and he may not be in love with us, but as far as I know, he's not. He does?
Yes,
That's the knowledge I needed right there.
the one that is in Whitney, that RADO, I
Uh-huh.
think that's the one.
The one you just took?
Yes.
Okay, and that's who he's got invoices? Thank you very much. Appreciate that, Ms. Parker.
I knew that was, I have used Justin a few times, not many, but most of the time we do our own.
Okay.
We purchased a pressure washer 2 years ago.
Ooh,
So most of our work, we do it ourselves.
okay. So I've got Rado for 3, Rado for 1.
Okay, 4R from.
Is this all gonna be separate
Let's
motions?
do one big motion. What I'll do is I'll word it like this. On the bids for pressure washing, Hill County Precinct 1 and Precinct 3 accept the bid from RADO. Hill County Precinct 4 accepts the bid from 4R. And then what about you, sir?
I guess, or there's DO or.
Okay, so Hill County Precincts 1, 2, and 3 accept the bid from RADO. And Hill County Precinct 4 accepts a bid from 4R. That is the motion. Is there a second? Okay,
Do you have to reject any of the others or just no?
I think it's implied that the other bids are rejected. Man, you want to reject people? That's
Hey,
horrible.
you know,
How are they going to feel?
y'all do this different every year.
It wouldn't be any fun if we did it the same. You wouldn't be able to keep up.
There, on 1304. The first one.
Doesn't matter, you call yourself a business.
I don't know his name. I know who you're talking about right there down by Mr. Bieber's place. I don't know who that felt. I guarantee I'll say that and be somebody get mad at me later.
That's one of the.
Okay.
Did
All right. That's the motion. There was a second. Any further discussion on the issue? Hearing none, I call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Is that opposition?
That was
there? Okay, that was aye. Good. No abstentions. Motion carries. Next is road and bridge materials. Again, that's bridges and box culverts. And we have two. We have a Yoder Bridge, which we're always glad to see, and a CXT Incorporated, which I wasn't expecting to see that bid, but I'm glad that we did get another bid. But they do box culverts, it appears. And so this is the Hillsborough plant right up the road here. That's local folks. That's good to see. And of course, Mr. Yoder doesn't really do box culverts, or we've not used him for that in the past. We use him for bridges. So kind of two separate things. And you can see there's a price list for these box culverts. Everything from a 3x2 and they show you the reinforced box culvert, tongue and groove joints. They make up to an 8x8. That's a pretty sizable box culvert.
And they said they would make any size
It,
that we want.
and I was curious about this. And how long is this 8x8? That's 8 foot by 8 foot opening on it. But how long is that thing? Or am I misreading that?
It doesn't say it. Well,
I mean, 8x8 culvert for $1,105.60 delivered. That's kind of a good deal.
You know that weight of it too, it's not gonna be very.
3,600 pounds. It can't be too big.
What's that? Section,
Okay.
4 or 6 foot section, I'm guessing.
But I guess, but I'm glad to see we have a local person doing this. So
And he said, yeah, lots of us, everybody come out and look if they wanted to.
I think the biggest issue has been box culverts historically. We've had to set them ourselves and we don't have the equipment to set them. But if this guy's can come out and set them, deliver them.
well, 8x8, do they make like a 20-foot 8x8 for this price?
See, I don't know the
I
answer to
don't
that.
see it being possible.
I don't see it. Well, if they do, I need to talk to him real quick.
I'm just going off what I was saying.
Yeah.
Construction sites along the highways and things.
And I agree.
But section.
I agree.
Together, because it says tongue and groove joints, so they've got to be.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I went out there last week, so.
But what would we pay for an 8 foot diameter culvert that's 20 foot long nowadays?
8 foot cover,
Well,
well, the ones are 40 around about,
$4,000 or $5,000.
A 20 foot long one?
I paid 6 or 7 for some covers. Of course, they're 40 foot long.
Okay. So this is going to be,
Foot won't do really good on the road.
no, I understand. But what I'm getting at is these box culverts are somewhat comparable to the price of corrugated metal culverts. They're going to be a little more expensive. Yeah.
Here's Yoder's bid on.
What's he got?
Box culvert, a 7x10, which is going to be comparable,
Mhm.
by 24 foot long, $70,000. So you take. Or how many you have, depending on how long. the section-
Let's go conservative and say they're 4 foot sections. I'd say so too. But I think the other thing difference is he's not precasting them. He's doing it on site.
It's all in one section.
Yeah.
That's.
And he said if we needed something bigger, he would special do one.
Okay, cool.
So do we need to take this bid on box culverts and just Yoder's bid on bridges? Or can we take his box culverts even though we don't use the box?
Historically, we've treated bridges and box culverts as road construction materials and accepted all bids based on quantity, quality, availability, which I believe we need to add price and location to that.
Make that motion.
So
You're welcome. Yeah, there you go. All right. So we have a motion and a second to accept all bids for box culverts and bridges received from CXT Inc., Hillsborough, Texas, and Yoder Construction out of Paris, Texas, based on quantity, quality, availability, location, and price.
In the last 10 years. 40 by 24 was 50,000. 4 years ago,
Yeah.
and now it's 135,000.
Yeah. Aren't you glad you did all those bridges back when they were just a little expensive, not really expensive? Yeah. All right, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Next is steel, pipe and culverts, and we have three folks. We have ADS, the Railroad Yard and Wilson Culverts. Again, this is road construction material, will fall under the acceptance of all bids if you so wish to do so based on quantity, quality, availability, location, and price. So the one that was a railroad yard, that's the one that Commissioner Holcomb took advantage of to try to correct that drainage issue out on 1435. Those were the old rail cars that were cut into half pipes and welded into an arch shape. So, and
ADS is plastic.
that's up to y'all. You do you.
Well, you, in the culvert policy, they can't use any plastic.
Correct.
So if we made that for the culvert policy, I don't think we ought to be able to use the plastic pipe ourselves.
I think if from a guy that maintains road and bridges, that's a good position to take. Justin doesn't maintain road and bridges, so you do you. I sent it to you because I accepted it, but I got no problem rejecting it.
Yeah.
I don't know
They
that,
did them every year. No.
Yeah.
Anytime we've ever used.
I don't know, and I'm not aware of any entity around us that uses larger plastic culverts. I've seen a few in driveways and whatnot, but I'm not like talking 4 to 5 foot. I'm not, I don't know anybody does that. So,
Wilson covers. 2 years last year.
yeah, Wilson bought out their competitor 2 years ago was, somebody, yeah, two of them merged into Wilson a couple years ago.
Contact years ago, they'd have you charge her a drop fee every time.
They were, yeah,
And then Wilson doesn't do it. That's the reason. And there's also $1 or $2 for cheaper.
Yeah.
And they don't charge.
Wilson's a big name in the industry. So. So what you thinking, guys? Should I answer that spam risk? Oh, yeah, hang up.
Any of them off the board.
All bids.
You can, because it's road construction materials, in my understanding, yes.
If that eliminate the plastic.
Yeah, we're going.
Okay, so accept bids from the railroad yard and from Wilson Culvert based on quantity, quality, availability, price, and location. Motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I shall call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Then we go on to material hauling. We only got 3 bids this year on material hauling. We got bids from Yannick and Witten Construction, bid from Truck Unlimited, and bid from 5Co Logistics, Inc. Now, each precinct has to pick one. This is not a road construction material. You must go with the lowest and best bidder for your precinct. You keep stealing a cheat sheet.
We can share.
Okay, cool. So you've got bids from, again, Yannick, which I believe Yannick and Witten is our first one here. Yep. I was looking at that. They're out of Malone. It's Kurt Strauch and Randy Fusey. Yeah,
Gonna be the cheapest. That's gonna be.
okay. So precinct 3, use elects Yannick and Witten.
I'll take the one if it also.
Precinct 4, Yannick and Witten. Rachel, do you happen to know who a commissioner in precinct one is currently doing business with? I thought everybody accepted Yannicka Witten last year, but before I open my big mouth, I want to make sure that's right. The good news, is I'm wrong. I won't be here next week. Deal with it.
I didn't know what they,
Do we need-
anybody.
Do we need to clap?
Yeah. We know where you'll be staying.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. Yeah. I don't know that he uses people often, but he has in the past when he's got, anybody can get in a bind on, a dangerous. Yeah, because the distance from the pits makes sense. How do you feel about things?
Do what?
Which one do you want to accept?
None.
No outside home.
Yeah.
Even if you got into a emergency situation and you had to use somebody, you had 14 inches of rain like we did in June of 07. Okay. So then what we're going to have is precinct 1, 3, and 4 accept the bid from Yannick and Witten, and precinct 2 will reject all bids.
We
Anybody-
can make that one.
Well, that's one motion.
Skirting.
It's a culvert material. No, rail yard is that one that he bought those half pipes to fix that drainage issue off of 1435. I agree. But he has a true emergency, so we're not going to mock him on it. I don't think he's used anybody this last year. Just, I'm appointing somebody there just in case it comes up. He has a gully washer of some sort.
Have to cut someone that won't have.
Okay, that's fair enough. That's right. Andy had. Well, if he doesn't like it, we can go back out for bid at a later date.
Make a comment to me about it's just too expensive, so.
It is. And remember, just,
In this case, I can understand that.
Oh, yeah. that's it. Just remember, we're not doing this to say, hey, we're definitely going to use this person, but sometimes just in case the need arises, an emergency, we don't have to stop, hold a commissioner's court, put everything out for bid and 30 days down the road. That's all I'm doing here, is making sure you guys are covered in case of contingencies. So what we're going to have then is a motion for precinct 1, 3, and 4 to accept the bid from Yannick and Witten for rock. Let me get the exact name right. Material hauling, and precinct 2 will reject all bids. And that is the motion. All right. Is there a second?
We got it.
All right. Motion is second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion passes. Last but not least, fuel and petroleum, always my favorite. So since we've gone to Voyager, which is state bid, that's on the state contract, we don't have to worry as much. However, we've got bids this time from SS Scott Oil, independent oil company, Corpay Technology Operating Company doing business as Fuelman, Itasca Grain Co-op, and Farmers Co-op Gin. As you'll notice, the most of these are places where they have fuel on site. We're going to that site to get it. Most of them. Guys, how y'all want to tackle this one?
Also fantastic. Yeah, let me start.
All right, and that's for your off-site fuel.
Yes.
And you don't have any fuel on the yard.
No.
I didn't think you did, but I just want to clarify. Yes, sir.
I want, independent oil for on-site fuel
Okay,
and farmers gin.
for off-site. Okay. What you thinking?
I'm just wondering.
Let's do it.
Y'all usually do
Okay,
it separately.
Okay,
so-
okay, let's do it. We'll do it one at a time. Make it easier on you. So precinct 4 Hill County accepts the bid. There's a motion from precinct 4 Hill County to accept. What do you want?
Your bid sheet.
I'm using a cheat sheet.
Well, so am I.
Man, you're hogging all the materials over here. I don't know what I'm
So you
supposed to
take
do.
it.
Well, hang on, we're gonna,
Mark first.
we're just gonna do Martin first, make this easy on
All
you. So we're gonna accept a bid from Itasca Co-op Grain for Hill County Precinct 4 for off-site fuel.
Precinct 3 takes independent.
Well, let's do a
Who
motion,
seconded
we'll
that?
do a motion and all that on it.
I'm confused.
Yeah, so
You know, you have-
there's a motion for precinct 4. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, motion is second. All in favor, say aye. Aye, aye. Any abstentions? No nos? We go. Precinct 3.
Makes a motion to accept independent oil for on-site and Farmers Gym for offsite.
Independent is on sides.
And we can still use the fuel card.
Yeah, Voyager for any of those needs, since it's a state bid contract.
Who seconded that?
Mark.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstentions, motion carries. All right, precinct number 2.
Independent for offsite and onsite.
Okay. You do still have on-site, don't you?
Hmm?
I forget that you still have fuel in the yard.
Yeah.
That's a brave choice.
A little bit of gas we usually use
Okay.
to depot.
Okay. So we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second for Hill County Precinct 2 to accept the bids from Independent Oil for both on-site and off-site fuel. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Now precinct 3, I know he uses SS Scott Oil for off-site. Precinct 1, you're right. I said 3, my bad. That-
Hadn't
but
he been talking about getting,
he has been, but he has not yet. So here's my advice on this one. I think we accept the bid for the offsite so he can do business as normal. He does not currently have a tank, to my knowledge, on the Huron yard anywhere. He can always go back and rebid that if he rejects all bids for on-site fuel at this time. And not knowing what he wants to do, I've talked to him about this fuel farm. I don't know how close we are to building it, or if this is the next budget year. I don't know any of that. But seeing how there's not even anything on the ground yet, we can always come back and rebid it for him just for his on-site fuel, if we reject all on-site fuel bids for precinct 1. So I'm gonna make a motion for Hill County Precinct 1 that we accept the off-site fuel bid from Scott Oil and reject all on-site fuel bids for precinct 1.
Second.
That puts him in the driver's seat to do what he needs to. If we got to go back rebid it, it's not hard. So, all right. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstentions? Motion carries. All right, here is the rest of those. Man, we got through the last one of those. Yes, ma'am. All of the fuel be through the Voyager, which is the state bid contract. It's the only reason we didn't have to bid it. So, which I really like that. Because that's what the sheriff's offices use. That's what, everybody's going to. So number 7, discuss and approve a donation from Clish Clark in the amount of $300 from the Community Emergency Response Team Volunteer Team. We were told 1. Okay, who's the second one? You donated some money to the CERT program?
Yeah, I know that $100.
$100? Well, then in which case we'll amend our order to say there's Scribner's error. I was unaware of that. I was told Clark, but accept a donation of $200 from Chris Clark and $100 from Martin Lake for the Hill County CERT volunteer team. Thank you for that. Make a motion in a second to accept said donation. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstentions, motion carries. Sounds good to me. The CERT team is a really great idea. It's just difficult to manage at this county with our procurement laws because of what they do. They're not per se first responders, but they're supporting first responders. So they show up in the middle of the night and they provide Gatorade to firefighters and cooling stations and support services. Well, they expend money on food sometimes. Obviously, we don't have the ability to do that as a county. We can't use taxpayer funds for it. So in the long run, that's going to be a challenge for us, is how do they manage their finances? Because there's limitations on what a county can expend funds on, and rightfully so. But when they're buying hamburgers in the middle of the night for firefighters working on big fire, or, supporting some scene, there has to be more flexibility in how those funds get expended. And I think that's going to be one of the challenges we need to figure out moving forward. So yeah, that's my 10 cents on that subject. What's that? I didn't want to say it out loud, but I tend to think so. So, it has to be through the county for them to get the funding from the feds, which we've not received yet, have we? No.
Not,
Not even
We have
applied.
applied. Grants and now.
Yeah. Gotcha. Good deal. All right. Well, number 8 is discussion action, local independent school district memorandum of understanding. Gentlemen, we have in front of us a couple of local memorandums of understanding. You understand and have known in the past, the Hill County Sheriff's Office has operated under member understanding with several local school districts for the sake of school security and joint law enforcement work. The Sheriff's Office and the local independent school districts would like to continue this joint venture. Of these, Blum, Covington, and Aquila ISD are part of this MOU process. The previous MOUs on file are outdated. Remember, they last for just a little while. They have shelf lives. We're due for review and possess the information of former elected officials in Hill County. It's got no daily impact on our operations, though it will assist any of these schools in a time of need. I think it's a good idea for us to continue these, and it would be my motion that we approve those memorandums of understanding with Aquila, Blum, Covington Independent School District. Good deal. Chief, you good with this? Thank you, sir. All right, motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstentions, motion carries. Number 9, discussion and action on setting a public hearing for no through truck traffic and speed limit sign on Hill County Road 2334.
Known as Big Jim Road, we discussed the speed limit last week.
Yes, sir.
We were supposed to check into about how low we can go.
35.
It won't be no need to post the speed limit. 35 is too fast,
What does it need to be?
need to be about 20,
10.
you know.
We can do a traffic study. I don't have anybody to do that for you off the top of my head, but we have the ability to go lower if we do a traffic study and somebody comes up and says, hey, this isn't supposed to be it. We'd have to hire somebody that does traffic studies, and that's fine. But I think that'd be the first place to start, is finding out who you would use to conduct a traffic study so that we have the justification necessary under the code to lower it that low.
Next up, be able to do that.
I don't know. They've offered assistance similar to that in the past. Let's reach out to them and see what they'd have to say.
Tried to text Josh a couple of times, but he never answered me, but
I'll call him for you.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Even Eric, a couple of times, no answer. Anyway,
Really?
but as far as the no through truck traffic, I'd say post it,
Okay.
hearing,
When do you want to set the hearing for? Last meeting of this month?
yes, 22nd.
22nd it is.
Have it posted next week,
Okay, cool.
if we'll get through all the rain.
You might as well laminate it. We're not going to be through the rain anytime soon. All right. So we've got a hearing set for a no through truck traffic sign to be placed on Big Jim's Road, known as Hill County Road 2134. The public hearing will be held on the 22nd day of April 2025. Purpose of said hearing is to hear positions either for or against the posting of a no through truck traffic sign. That is the motion from Commissioner Crumpton. Is there a second? Motion and a second. Any further? Nope. All in favor, say aye. The ayes have it. The noes know it for that one last time. So it's been fun. Motion, second, we stand adjourned.